So, Neil Steinberg of the Chicago Sun-Times compared black supporters of Republican gubernatorial candidate Bruce Rauner to Jews who collaborated with Nazis against their brethren, saying, as a general rule, individuals will sell out the interests of their groups in return for personal benefit, end quote. So, people aren't selling out to Democrats because they have no personal benefit or interest? Hey, Democrats, I want to abort this unborn kid for my own personal benefit. Can you hook that up? Hey, Democrats, I don't like how much money other people are making. Can you tax them more so I can have some of it for my own personal benefit? Hey, Democrats, can you make sure that whatever I feel entitled to, I can have at the forced expense of someone else? You Democrats swear up and down that we Republicans are bought off. Not only is this not true, but it's a gross projection. And on top of that, those of us who are compensated, like myself, to give their opinion, aren't compensated by force. I'm not paid by the government robbing someone else. And by the way, I was disagreeing with liberals long before I was ever paid for it.
I think what's happening. Propaganda.
Alan West has already beautifully addressed this, but it bears repeating. Alan West responded to this stating, and exactly what personal benefit do I receive as a black conservative Republican? Oh yeah, the freedom to escape the white liberal progressive economic plantation, work hard, and do well for my family. He goes on to say, so now along with being called an Uncle Tom, sellout, Oreo, house Negro, and white man's porch monkey, I am also just like Jews who were Nazi collaborators? Funny thing, that would put black conservative Republicans like me in the same category as George Soros, a Hungarian Jew who posed as a Christian and helped confiscate property from Jews being shipped out to concentration camps. And now he funds the liberal progressive socialist movement we call the Democrat Party. I don't expect the DNC chairman, Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who happens to be a Jew, to express any outrage. Do you? And will Eric Holder go running to Al Sharpton and the National Action Network to whine about how blacks are treated? Now, during my congressional tenure, a reporter came up to me in the speaker's lobby and asked me for comments about an opinion poll that showed a majority of Americans believe the Republicans controlled Capitol Hill. I looked with amazement and responded that the Democrats have a propaganda machine that will make Goebbels proud. Another reporter, liberal progressive of course, was standing by and asked me if I was comparing Democrats to Nazis. Of course not. I told him I was simply addressing the use of propaganda as a means to deceive the public. But I also told him, I know what you want. It's something sensational. And you'll no doubt inaccurately report my statement, which is of course exactly what happened. And might I add that a great deal of the socialist-oriented positions of the Democrat Party are reflective of the Nazi Party, being that they were the National German Socialist Workers' Party. Might I also add that the Democrat Party was also an American apartheid party. We had apartheid in America, instituted by the Democrat Party. This nut Steinberger, with a nod from Illinois Governor Pat Quinn, is trying to implicate blacks as comparable to Jews who sold out other Jews to the Nazis. Meanwhile, the majority of the black community has embraced the Democrats, the founders of the KKK. Yet we blacks who are Republicans, the party that stood in opposition to the KKK, are somehow traitors? Blacks who vote Democrat happily use the same hateful language as the KKK against us more than the KKK ever had time to. And then have the nerve to call us self-loathers while hanging on to the unconstitutional promises and panderings of the Democrat Party. But somehow, you think the Republican Party has bought us off. And when y'all get hit with the reality of how stupid these assertions you make are, you cop out with a party switch myth. And then when you get busted on that, you give some nonsense about an ideological switch. None of which adds up. And I've pointed this out many times. And I have to keep pointing this stuff out because of the nonsense like Steinberger keeps putting out there. But like I told you, race baiting is the biggest weapon the Democrats have, and you have to destroy it. How do you do that? You have to be just as repetitious and relentless with exposing the truth about the racist history they try to project onto you that really belongs to them, as they are relentlessly repetitious with promoting their lies. The problem with Republicans right now is that instead of being conservative about our individual nature, we're being too liberal with it, and it's causing a whole lot of splintering to the Democrats' delight. Despite all the individual directions Republicans want to go in to win, you'd think that Republicans would realize one of the major obstacles that's in the way of connecting our ideas with the other half of America is that no matter what issue you want to lead with, you might want to consider a problem you all have in common that keeps you from advancing. And that problem is that you're all perceived as racist. You might want to do something about that and turn that angst back on the actual culprits. If people are going to insist on being angry about racism, let's make sure they rightfully know who to be angry at. I'm Alfonso Rachel with ZoNation, and I totally understand we're very, very, very sick of this issue. Well, it ain't going away. So instead of letting the Democrats grind on your nerves with it, thinking that at some point they're gonna stop using a strategy that works spectacularly for them, you could take that energy and come together and make that weapon of theirs blow up in their face. I was disagreeing with liberals long before I was ever paid for it.